There is a word older than kingdoms, older than law, older than language itself. It is the word whispered around fires in the dark, the word carved into stone long before men wrote books, the word warriors died to protect. That word is honor. It is not wealth. It is not fame. Those can be taken from you overnight. Honor cannot be stolen. It can only be given away, piece by piece, choice by choice, until there's nothing left but an empty name. We live in a world where people mistake appearance for honor. They think it's about what others see, about keeping your image polished. But real honor is invisible to the crowd. It is the way you act when there is no crowd. It is your reflection in the mirror on the nights you can't sleep, asking, "Did I keep my word today?" If your answer is yes, then no one can touch you. If your answer is no, then no one needs to. You've already cut yourself down. Honor is not a banner you wave in public. It is the quiet, relentless standard you keep in private. And if you choose to live by it, you will discover quickly it is heavy. It is inconvenient. It will cost you. And yet, it is the only thing worth carrying to the end. The 100 rules for an honorable life are not suggestions. They are a code, a personal law you enforce without exception. And the first 10 are the foundation. Without them, the rest are meaningless. Rule 1, keep your word or keep silent. Your word is your currency. Every promise you make is a coin stamped with your name. If you keep it, your currency rises in value. If you break it, you flood the market with counterfeits, and your name becomes worthless. People think a broken promise is just an event, a thing that happened once, but a broken promise is a crack in your foundation. Every time you fail to keep your word, you are teaching yourself that your own voice cannot be trusted. Do not give your word casually. A careless, I promise, is as dangerous as a loaded gun in the hands of a child. If you are not absolutely sure you will follow through, say nothing. If you do give it, you must keep it no matter the inconvenience, even if it hurts, especially if it hurts because the world is watching? No, because you are watching. And the day you cannot believe yourself is the day your honor dies. Rule 2, let small lies die before they grow. Most people are not destroyed by the grand betrayals. They are undone by the small, comfortable lies they tell themselves and others every day. A white lie to avoid conflict. A little exaggeration to make yourself look better. A quiet omission so you don't have to admit fault. You tell yourself it's harmless. But small lies are seeds, and they grow into vines that wrap around your integrity until you can no longer move without breaking it. The dishonorable do not leap into corruption all at once. They walk there one step at a time, lying about small things until the big ones feel easy. An honorable life requires brutal self-discipline with the truth. If a lie sits in your mouth, spit it out, even if it means embarrassment, even if it means loss. The sting of truth lasts a moment. The rot of a lie lasts a lifetime. Rule 3, stand for what you claim to believe. Beliefs without action are nothing but decorations. It is easy to declare values when they cost you nothing. The real test is when the wind shifts, when the thing you believe becomes unpopular, inconvenient, or dangerous. At that moment, you will be tempted to bend, to soften your stance, to stay silent so you can keep your place in the crowd. But here's the truth. If you will not stand for your values when they are under attack, you never believed them at all. You only rented them until the price went up. The honorable do not announce their beliefs to be praised. They stand by them to be counted, even if they stand alone, even if it costs them friends, opportunities, or safety. And here is the secret no one tells you. Once you have stood in the storm, you will never fear the weather again. We have started with the 3 pillars: your word, your truth, and your beliefs. Without them, you are a house without walls, exposed to the first wind that blows. But honor is not just about what you say and believe. It is also about what you owe, what you take, and how you treat those who can do nothing for you. That is where we go next. Rule 4, pay your debts, all of them. A debt is not always gold. Sometimes it's a favor. Sometimes it's time. Sometimes it's trust. When someone gives you something, a piece of their energy, their belief, their effort, they have placed a weight in your hands. An honorable person does not ignore that weight. They return it in full and often with interest. The dishonorable treat debts like smoke, something to wave away and forget. They accept help, then vanish. They take and pretend the cost was nothing, but every unpaid debt leaves a mark on your name. And names, unlike money, cannot be replaced. Do not think of repayment as a burden. Think of it as proof that your word is alive. If someone lends you their strength, return it when they are weak. If someone covers your back in the fight, watch theirs twice as hard. Let people say, if they owe you, they will pay you back every time. In that, your honor gains interest. Rule 5. Do not steal, even when no one will know. Theft is not about possession. It is about integrity. You may think that taking what is not yours, whether it's time, credit, or opportunity, is harmless if no one notices. But dishonor does not require witnesses. The act itself is the stain. The honorable do not take what is not theirs, not because they fear punishment, but because they know the price of their soul. The moment you tell yourself, it's fine, no one will know, you've already made yourself cheaper. Even the smallest theft, an idea you claim as your own, a piece of credit you did not earn, becomes a shadow that follows you. It doesn't matter if the world never sees it. You will, and you will carry it until you decide to stop taking what was never yours to begin with. An honorable life demands you walk away from what you could steal, not because you can't take it, but because you won't. Rule 6. Treat every person as a mirror of yourself. The world worships status. It teaches you to bow to the powerful and step over the powerless. But honor sees through the disguise. Every person you meet is a reflection of what you could be in another set of circumstances. The janitor could have been the CEO. The prisoner could have been the judge. The poor could have been you. When you treat someone with disrespect because they have less power than you reveal not their worth, but yours. The honorable speak to the forgotten with the same respect they give the famous. They look in the eyes of those the world ignores and let them know they are seen. And here's the truth. Those moments will weigh more in the measure of your life than all your victories combined. Speak to every person as though they carry a crown, even if the world cannot see it. Rule 7. End what you begin. Half-finished work is a quiet form of dishonor. It whispers, my comfort mattered more than my commitment. When you start something, you enter into a silent contract with yourself, with the people who depend on you, with the principle of reliability itself. To abandon it halfway is to break that contract. The dishonorable chase beginnings. They love the fire of the start, the excitement, the novelty. But when the work becomes heavy, they vanish. Their path is littered with abandoned projects, empty promises, and dreams that rotted because they never saw them through. The honorable see the end before they take the first step. And once they begin, they finish, no matter the cost, no matter the fatigue, no matter the boredom. Because completion is not about the task. It is about proving to yourself that your word, even when spoken only in your own mind, is iron. These 4 rules: pay your debts, do not steal, treat all with respect, and end what you begin, are not glamorous. They will not earn applause from the crowd. You will not trend for living by them. But they are the quiet foundation upon which everything else stands. They are the proof that your honor is not a costume you wear in public, but a skin you live in every hour of every day. An honorable person is not measured by the moments of grandeur. They are measured in the 1,000 tiny acts no one notices, except the person living them. And here is the truth the world will never tell you. If you can be trusted in the smallest matters, you can be trusted in the largest. If you cannot, no crown, no rank, no title will hide the rot beneath. We began with Rule 1, keep your word, because without it you have nothing. We have now added the weight of repayment, the rejection of theft, the equal treatment of all people, and the discipline of completion. But there is more to honor than the keeping of promises and the finishing of tasks. Honor demands that when you fall, you admit it. When the easy road appears, you refuse it. And that even in the shadows, when no eyes are on you, you remain unchanged. That is where we go next. Rule 8. Admit when you are wrong. Pride is the sworn enemy of honor. It will whisper to you, deny, defend, justify. It will convince you that admitting fault is weakness, that to say, I was wrong, is to lose respect. The truth is the opposite. The one who admits fault quickly, clearly, without excuse, earns more respect than the one who hides behind lies and blame. Why? Because honor demands self-awareness, and self-awareness demands humility. When you are wrong, admit it before you are caught. When you fail, own it before someone else has to name it. Do not soften it with excuses. Do not hide it with clever words. Stand in the open and say, I was wrong. I will fix it. It is not weakness to bow to the truth. It is weakness to pretend you are above it. Rule 9. Refuse the easy road when it costs your integrity. The world will always offer you shortcuts, faster paths, cheaper deals, easier wins. All they cost is a little of your honor. You will be tempted because no one will know, because everyone else is doing it, because the reward is too good to pass up. But the price will follow you quietly like a shadow you can't shake. The dishonorable man takes the shortcut and spends the rest of his life explaining why it wasn't that bad. The honorable man takes the long road and needs no explanation at all. Here's the truth. Honor is heavy because it makes life harder, but that is what makes it worth carrying. The path of integrity is rarely the quickest, but it is always the cleanest. When you look back, you will not remember the extra hours, the harder work, the missed opportunities. You will remember only that you never had to bow your head in shame. Rule 10. Be the same in the dark as you are in the light. The truest test of honor is what you do when there are no witnesses. Do you hold the same standards when the crowd is gone, when the cameras are off, when there is no one to applaud or condemn you? If your integrity depends on an audience, you do not have integrity. You have performance. The honorable lie by the same code in silence that they do in the noise. They do not change when no one is watching. They only become quieter. Their principles do not fade in the shadows. They sharpen. And here's the paradox. If you can be trusted in the dark, you will shine in the light without ever trying. These first 10 rules form the bedrock. They are not the most glamorous. They are not the loudest. But they are the roots that keep the rest of the tree standing when the storm comes. What comes next will test you even more. The next 10 rules are about mastery of the self, the battles inside your own mind, the temptations and weaknesses that will try to pull you from the path. If the first 10 rules built the walls, the next 10 will guard the gates. Because it is one thing to carry honor when the world is watching. It is another to carry it when your enemy is your own reflection. And that is the next war. In every war you will fight, there is one enemy you can never escape. They will be with you in the morning when you rise, in the evening when you close your eyes, and in every shadow you pass through. That enemy is yourself. The outside world can take your possessions, your opportunities, even your freedom. But only you can throw away your own discipline. Only you can corrupt your own honor. The hardest battles are not against armies, corporations, or rival voices. They are against the voice inside that says, rest a little longer. Speak before you think. Take the shortcut. Tell them what they want to hear. Just this once. Mastery of the self is not a single victory. It is a lifetime siege. And these next 10 rules are your weapons, your defenses, and your map through the battlefield of your own mind. Rule 11. Control your tongue before it controls you. Words are the most dangerous weapon you own, and they come with no safety lock. Once released, they cannot be called back. They can cut deeper than any blade and burn longer than any fire. The dishonorable speak without thinking, reacting with emotion instead of reason. They blurt out anger, sarcasm, gossip, and promises they never planned to keep, and each time their credibility bleeds away. The honorable keep a leash on their tongue. Before they speak, they ask, will this add value? Will it protect the truth? Will it keep my dignity intact? Silence is not weakness, it is strategy. The one who can hold their tongue when provoked has already won the first battle. Rule 12. Conquer your temper before it conquers you. Anger is not evil in itself. It is a signal, a sign that something is wrong, that a line has been crossed. But left uncontrolled, anger becomes a master, not a servant. The dishonorable allow anger to dictate their actions. They destroy relationships, burn opportunities, and escalate conflicts because they cannot pause. The honorable feel the fire, but they control where it burns. They use anger as fuel for measured action, not reckless destruction. Ask yourself, am I angry because something is unjust or because my ego is bruised? If it's the second, you are not fighting for truth. You are fighting for vanity. To conquer your temper is not to extinguish it, but to train it to light your way without burning your path. Rule 13. Resist the need for constant validation. The hunger for approval is one of the most dangerous addictions. It will make you change your opinions to match the crowd, sacrifice your principles to win applause, and betray your own judgment for a pat on the back. The dishonorable live like actors, always checking the audience to see if the performance is pleasing. The honorable live like authors, writing their own script regardless of the reviews. If you base your worth on the opinions of others, you will forever be at their mercy. The moment they turn away, your confidence collapses. But if you anchor your worth to your own standards, no one can touch it. Seek respect, not approval. Respect is earned by consistency. Approval is bought by compromise. We've started with control over words, over temper, and over the craving for validation. The three impulses that, if unchecked, can destroy a reputation faster than a lie. In the next part, we'll sharpen the discipline of patience, train the ability to say no, and confront the reality that self-mastery is an endless pursuit. Rule 14. Make patience your sharpest weapon. Impatience is a form of fear. It says, if I don't act now, I'll lose. But rushing is how people lose before the real battle even begins. V. Dishonorable leap without seeing the ground beneath them. They buy before thinking, speak before knowing, strike before aiming, and then wonder why they're left holding the wreckage. The honorable understand that patience is not weakness, it is positioning. It is waiting for the moment when the strike will land with precision instead of flailing in the dark. Patience turns chaos into clarity. It turns a potential disaster into a calculated victory. And when your enemy thinks you've done nothing, they rarely see the quiet preparation that's about to undo them. Rule 15. Learn the discipline of no. People imagine self-mastery as saying yes to challenges, to growth, to opportunity. But the true test is how many times you can say no. No. No to the easy temptations that erode your principles. No to distractions disguised as opportunities. No to people who would drain your energy without giving anything back. The dishonorable say yes to everything because they want to be liked, included, accepted. The honorable know that every yes costs time, energy, and focus, and those are currencies you cannot spend twice. A disciplined no is not rejection. It is protection of your time, your values, and your mission. Rule 16. Master the art of being still. We live in a world that mistakes noise for progress and movement for achievement. But honor does not require constant motion, it requires clarity. The dishonorable panic in stillness. They cannot sit with themselves. They fill the air with words, the day with noise, the mind with clutter, because silence would force them to face the truth. The honorable understand that stillness is power. In stillness, you see more, hear more, and decide with more precision. A warrior does not draw his sword at every sound in the dark. He listens, he waits, and he strikes when the time is right. Rule 17. Recognize the enemy within early. Your habits will betray you before your enemies do. Your ego will blind you before the world does. Your fear will disarm you before the fight begins. Self-mastery is not about never having weaknesses. It's about spotting them before they control you. If you wait until they've taken root, they will own you. The dishonorable let pride and denial hide their flaws. The honorable bring their flaws into the light, name them, and deal with them before they grow teeth. This requires brutal honesty. Look in the mirror and say, here is where I am vulnerable. Here is where I am weak. Then train those places until they become your armor. Pause here. Now we've added the weapons of patience, the shield of no, the power of stillness, and the foresight to confront our own flaws before they destroy us. In the final part of Section 2, we will forge the last 3 rules for self-mastery. Learning from criticism, commanding your focus, and becoming your own judge. Rule: learn from every criticism without being owned by it. Criticism is the fire that tests the strength of your steel. Some of it will be pure heat, intended to forge you stronger. Some will be poison, meant to corrode you from within. The honorable know how to take the heat without swallowing the poison. The dishonorable either collapse at the first sign of disapproval or dismiss all feedback to protect their ego. Both are fatal mistakes. When criticism comes, ask, is this truth? If yes, use it to sharpen yourself. If no, Discard it without bitterness. To master yourself, you must be able to hear hard words without letting them dictate your worth. If your confidence is shaken by every opinion, you do not own yourself. You are rented to the crowd. Rule 19. Command your focus or lose your future. Distraction is the silent thief of destiny. It doesn't attack with noise or chaos. It creeps in with convenience and comfort. The dishonorable scatter themselves across 100 half-finished goals. They chase every flashing light, every new obsession, and wonder why nothing lasts. The honorable guard their focus like a fortress. They choose a target and give it their full weight. They are ruthless in cutting away what doesn't serve their mission. Here's the truth. In a world screaming for your attention, focus is rebellion. And those who master it will move mountains while the rest scroll in circles. Rule 20. Be your own judge before the world judges you. Before you face the court of public opinion, you must face the court within. The dishonorable wait to be called out. They hide their flaws until someone else drags them into the light. Then they scramble, making excuses and shifting blame. The honorable live under their own judgment, harsher, stricter, and more unyielding than anything the world could impose. Every night they hold a trial in their own mind. Did I live by my code today? Did I fall short? Did I make it right? By judging yourself daily, you remove the power of anyone else's verdict. You will have already faced it and answered for it long before they arrive. Principles mean nothing without proof. It's easy to write a code of honor on paper. It's easy to swear you will live by it, but without discipline, relentless, daily, unshakable discipline, it will dissolve into wishful thinking. Discipline is the bridge between intention and reality. It is the quiet, consistent proof that you mean what you say. The dishonorable treat discipline like a mood, something they keep when they feel motivated and drop when they're tired. The honorable treat discipline like breathing, non-negotiable, automatic, essential. In this section, we will take the foundation from Section 1 and the self-mastery from Section 2 and forge them into visible action, because honor that is not practiced is just theory. Rule 21. Rise when you said you would. Your day's first victory comes before the world even sees you. The moment you choose between the promise you made to yourself and the comfort of another hour in bed. When you say, I'll get up at 6, and you do, you begin your day with proof that your word is real. When you say it and fail, you begin your day with the quiet knowledge that you've already broken your code. The dishonorable let the first battle of the day be lost to softness. The honorable win it before sunrise. This is not about the time itself. It's about keeping the time you set. Whether it's 4 in the morning or 8, if you said it, you keep it. Your word begins with you, and it begins in the dark. Rule 22. Keep a schedule, not just a wish list. Most people live reactively, letting the day decide their moves. They keep a vague list of things they should do and wonder why none of them get done. The honorable plan their day as if it were a mission. They allocate time for each task, guard that time, and execute it as ordered. Not because they are slaves to the clock, but because they understand that structure is freedom. Without a schedule, your hours bleed into distractions. With one, every hour has a purpose. A schedule is not a prison, it's a fortress. Inside it, your focus is protected from the chaos outside. Rule 23, train your body as if it were your armor. Your body is the vessel that carries your honor. If it fails, your ability to live by your code is weakened. Strength is not just for warriors, it is for anyone who intends to carry weight, whether that weight is physical or moral. The dishonorable neglect their health and expect their willpower to carry them through. But the mind rides on the body, and when the body is weak, the mind tires faster. The honorable treat physical training as a duty, not a hobby. They eat, move, and rest in ways that prepare them for the demands of their mission, whatever that mission may be. You may never need to fight for your life, but you will need the endurance to fight for your word. And endurance must be built. Rule 24. Finish the small tasks without delay. Discipline is built in the small moments, not the grand ones. When a simple task appears, making the call, sending the message, cleaning the space, paying the bill, the dishonorable push it aside for later. Later becomes tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes never. The honorable handle it immediately. Why? Because each delay is a crack in the wall of discipline. If you cannot be trusted to complete the small, you cannot be trusted with the great. Do the small tasks at once, clear them from your path. Each completed action is a brick in the fortress of your reliability. Rule 25. Keep your tools ready. An honorable person does not wait for the moment of need to prepare. Whether it's a craftsman's tools, a warrior's weapon, or a leader's resources, readiness is not optional. The dishonorable arrive to the fight unprepared and blame circumstance. The honorable arrive ready, even if the fight never comes. This is not just about equipment, it is about mindset. Keep your finances, your skills, your resources sharpened. The day you need them, it will be too late to start. Preparation is a sign of respect for yourself, for your craft, and for the people who depend on you. Rule 26. Practice consistency until it becomes identity. Anyone can be disciplined for a day. Some can manage a week. Fewer can sustain it for years. The dishonorable mistake, short bursts of effort for lasting character. They start strong, then fade when the excitement is gone. The honorable understand that discipline is not a performance, it's identity. You do the thing not because you're in the mood, not because someone is watching, but because that is who you are. Consistency is how principles become reflexes. And when discipline becomes identity, it is no longer effort, it is simply you. Rule 27. Execute under pressure without complaint. Pressure reveals what's beneath the surface. In the calm, anyone can act disciplined. Under stress, only the truly trained hold the line. The dishonorable break formation at the first sign of strain. They look for excuses, for someone else to carry the load, for a way out. The honorable keep moving. They adapt, adjust, and execute without wasting energy on complaints. Complaining is surrender in disguise. It changes nothing, but it steals your strength. When the heat rises, you do not crumble, you deliver. That is discipline in its purest form. Rule 28. Sharpen the blade daily. Skill fades when left untouched. The mind dulls without challenge. The body weakens without use. An honorable life demands you keep your edge. Not once in a while, but every day. This is not about obsession. It is about respect for the craft, for the body, for the mission. The dishonorable rely on past victories, clinging to skills they learned years ago but never refined. When the moment comes, they reach for a blade that can no longer cut. The honorable train daily, even when there's no battle in sight. They read when others scroll. They practice when others rest. They push themselves when no one is demanding it. When the call comes, they are not getting ready. They are ready. Rule 29. Refuse wasted motion. Every movement has a cost. Every word spoken, every task taken, every step walked burns a measure of your energy, your time, your life. To waste them is to spend your currency of existence without care. The dishonorable chase everything at once, multitasking, rushing, scattering themselves until nothing of value is done. They mistake motion for progress and speed for success. The honorable move with intention. They do not run unless the destination matters. They do not speak unless the words carry weight. They cut distractions without hesitation, understanding that time, once gone, will never return. Precision is not just for the battlefield. It is for every choice, every action, every moment. Rule 30. Hold the same standard everywhere. Honor is not location-based. It is not something you keep in public and drop in private, not a mask you wear for work and remove at home. The dishonorable adjust their standards to their surroundings, polite in front of superiors, careless with family, respectable among friends, cruel to strangers. They believe honor is selective. The honorable understand that their code is constant. It does not change with the room. The standard is the same, whether dealing with kings or beggars, allies or enemies, the seen or the unseen. When your standard is fixed, your presence becomes unshakable. People will know, with you, the rules do not bend. Discipline is not an accessory. It is the spine that keeps the body of honor standing. Without it, the code you claim to live by will collapse under the first storm. Rise when you said you would. Guard your hours like treasure. Keep your body battle ready. Complete the smallest duties without hesitation. Stay prepared before the need. Make consistency your identity. Deliver under pressure without complaint. Sharpen yourself daily. Refuse to waste motion. And live by the same standard in every place, with every person, in every moment. When discipline becomes habit and habit becomes identity, you will move through the world with the quiet certainty that no matter where you stand, no matter what you face, you are the same. Honor in thought, honor in action, honor without exception. No matter how strong your personal code, it will be tested most in the company of others. It is easy to be honorable in solitude, where there is no betrayal, no insult, no temptation, no disappointment. But the world is full of people who will try to pull you off the path, some by accident, some with intention. The way you deal with them will determine whether your code is a living thing or just a set of words. Every handshake, every promise, every conflict is a mirror, showing the truth of who you are. Rule 31, keep confidence like a vault. When someone trusts you with their words, they hand you a piece of their armor. In the wrong hands, it becomes a weapon. The dishonorable treat secrets like currency, trading them for favor, for status, for a moment of attention. They convince themselves it's harmless, or that everyone will know eventually. The honorable hold confidence as if it were their own life. They lock it away, untouched, even if that person becomes an enemy later. Trust is not conditional. It is a duty that does not expire. When people know their words are safe with you, your presence becomes a fortress. Rule 32, keep fairness, even when it costs you. It is easy to be fair when fairness benefits you. The true test comes when fairness means you lose money, position, influence, advantage. The dishonorable twist the rules when they can, always tilting the table to their own side. They tell themselves it's just business, or that's how the game is played. The honorable play the game by the rules they would demand if the roles were reversed. They give others the same measure they expect for themselves, even if it costs them the win. Fairness is not weakness, it is strength, because it shows that your code is worth more than your gain. Rule 33. Speak hard truths with steady hands. To withhold the truth is to participate in a lie. Yet truth is a blade. In careless hands, it cuts more than it heals. The dishonorable avoid hard truths altogether, letting people walk toward disaster rather than risk discomfort. Or they swing the truth recklessly, enjoying the wound it leaves. The honorable tell the truth that needs to be told, and they do it with precision. They choose words that cut only what must be cut, leaving no unnecessary scars. To speak the truth well is to protect the person and the principle at the same time. Rule 34, stand by your allies in the storm. Anyone can stand beside you in celebration. The music is loud, the lights are bright, and the crowd is smiling. But when the rain falls and the torches turn toward you, watch who remains. The dishonorable drift away when it's inconvenient to stand by someone. They stay silent when you are under fire, or worse, join the crowd against you to protect themselves. The honorable do not vanish when things turn dark. They plant their feet beside their ally, even if it means sharing the blow. Loyalty is proven not by presence in the feast hall, but by presence in the fight. Stand by the ones you've chosen to call friend, not because it is easy, but because your word is not weather dependent. Rule 35. Respect the boundaries of others as you would protect your own. Honor does not end where your skin meets theirs. It extends to the space they claim for themselves, their time, their body, their privacy, their beliefs. The dishonorable cross lines because they believe their needs justify it. They take more than they're given, demand more than is offered, push further than they're invited. The honorable protect another's boundaries even if they don't understand them, because respect is not about agreement, it's about recognizing sovereignty. If you wish others to guard your lines, you must first prove you can guard theirs. Rule 36, do not weaponize kindness. Kindness given to control is not kindness at all. It is manipulation dressed in soft words. The dishonorable give to get. They offer help with invisible strings attached, pulling them tight when the moment comes to collect. They keep a ledger of every good deed, waiting to cash it in for influence. The honorable give freely or not at all. They do not place people in their debt under the disguise of generosity. True kindness is given without expectation, and anything less is just a transaction. Rule 37. Never strike below the belt, even against an enemy. When the fight is real, there will be moments where the low blow is the easiest path to victory. The dishonorable take it, thinking only of the win. The honorable fight clean, even when the other side fights dirty. They know that if you must lower yourself to beat your enemy, you have already lost something greater than the fight. Hold your ground, use your strength, and win on skill, not on the desperation to destroy at any cost. That way, when the dust settles, your victory will be worth carrying. Rule 38. Give credit where it's due. Recognition is a form of justice. When someone contributes to a victory, creates the spark of an idea, or shoulders a piece of the weight, their name should be carried with the result. V. Dishonorable. Erase others from the story. They polish the narrative until only their reflection remains, fearing that sharing credit will diminish their own. The honorable understand that giving credit strengthens everyone involved. The one who gave it, the one who earned it, and the bond between them. To rob a person of recognition is to steal in plain sight. To give it freely is to invest in a currency that never loses value. Rule 39, hear before you judge. The first version of a story is often the most persuasive and the most incomplete. Many a relationship, alliance, and reputation has been destroyed because someone believed the first whisper without seeking the rest of the truth. The dishonorable act on impulse, letting hearsay become verdict. They condemn without question, because it is easier to react than to investigate. The honorable suspend judgment until they have heard from all sides, until they have weighed the facts themselves. They know that rushing to a conclusion is not strength, it is recklessness with another person's name. Rule 40, leave a person better than you found them. Every interaction changes someone, for better or worse. Your presence will either plant seeds that grow or salt that poisons the ground. The dishonorable leave people diminished, less hopeful, less trusting, less willing to open their hands. They take more than they give, leaving behind only the echo of their own needs. The honorable strive to leave others better than they found them, even in small ways. A word that encourages, a gesture that restores dignity, a reminder that honor still exists in the world. The measure is simple. After crossing paths with you, are they stronger or weaker? No man's honor exists in a vacuum. It is built or broken in the way you treat those around you. Keep confidence as if it were your own. Be fair when fairness costs you. Speak the truth that must be spoken. Stand by your allies when the storm arrives. Guard the boundaries of others. Give kindness without strings. Fight without dishonor. Give credit freely. Hear before you judge. And leave every person better than you found them. The world remembers those who carried themselves with honor and solitude, but it cherishes those who carried it into the chaos of human connection and left proof behind that it can be done. There are two kinds of leaders, those who claim the title and those who earn it. The first group wears leadership like a crown, a symbol of status, attention, and control. They measure their worth by how many follow them. The second group wears leadership like armor, heavy, uncomfortable, and built to protect those in their care. They measure their worth by how many they can lift, defend, and guide. Honor does not exist in the crown. It exists in the armor, and the armor never comes off. Rule 41. Lead by example, not by command. A leader's authority is not in the orders they give, but in the life they live. The dishonorable bark commands they themselves do not follow. They demand loyalty without giving it, effort without effort, sacrifice without sacrifice. The honorable understand that people follow what they see, not what they're told. They show discipline before demanding it. They live the standards they expect from their people. They do the hard thing first, so no one can say it cannot be done. Leadership without example is hollow. Example without leadership is still leadership. Rule 42. Take the blame, share the credit. In victory, the dishonorable rush to the front to claim the glory, leaving their people in the background. In failure, they step back into the shadows and push their team forward to face the consequences. The honorable do the opposite. When things go right, they spread the recognition to every hand that played a part. When things go wrong, they stand in front of the fire and take the full hit themselves. This is not martyrdom, it is ownership. A leader's name is tied to both the victories and the failures under their watch, and the honorable never cut that rope when the weight gets heavy. Rule 43. Protect the people before the position. Leadership is not about guarding the chair you sit in. It is about guarding the people who stand beside and behind you. The dishonorable protect their title above all else. They will sacrifice the people to save their place. The honorable protect the people, even if it costs them the title. They understand that leadership is service, and service means putting yourself between harm and those you lead. The true measure of leadership is not how tightly you hold your power, but how willingly you lay it down for the sake of your people. Rule 44. Listen before you decide. Power has a way of making people deaf. The dishonorable hear only their own voice, assuming that position alone grants them clarity. They make decisions from the top of the mountain without knowing what's happening in the valley. The honorable understand that leadership means gathering perspective before delivering judgment. They listen to the ground-level voices, the ones carrying the weight directly. They listen even when it's uncomfortable, even when it challenges their pride. To lead well, you must hear more than your own echo. Rule 45. Never demand what you haven't done. The dishonorable issue orders from the safety of distance. They expect others to endure hardships they themselves have never faced, to take risks they have never taken. The honorable earn the right to demand by having done the thing themselves, or by being willing to do it now. They will stand shoulder to shoulder in the mud, on the line, in the fire, proving that no task is beneath them. Authority without shared burden is tyranny. Authority with shared burden is leadership. Rule 46. Mentor, don't manufacture dependence. Some leaders feed on dependency. They keep their people reliant on them for every decision, every answer, every move. It makes them feel irreplaceable, but it also keeps their people weak. The honorable see leadership as the process of building others to stand on their own. They teach, they guide, they equip, until the student no longer needs the teacher. A leader's true legacy is not how many people follow them, but how many people can lead without them. Rule 47. Stand alone when you must. Leadership will put you in situations where the right choice is also the unpopular one. The dishonorable fold under the pressure of opinion, changing course to keep the crowd behind them. The honorable stand their ground when the principle demands it, even if the crowd walks away. They understand that leadership is not a popularity contest. It is a guardianship of the truth, of the mission, of the code. When the choice is between comfort and integrity, they choose integrity, knowing it may leave them standing alone. Rule 48. Make decisions for the mission, not your ego. The dishonorable let their pride steer the wheel. They choose the path that keeps them looking strong, even if it costs the mission itself. They chase personal victories over collective success. The honorable make choices based on what serves the cause, not what strokes their vanity. They know that leadership is not about being right. It's about getting it right. Sometimes that means letting someone else take the lead. Sometimes it means swallowing pride and admitting you were wrong. The mission is the goal. Your ego is just a passenger. Rule 49. Remove rot before it spreads. A leader who tolerates dishonor in their ranks invites collapse. One disloyal act, one unchecked lie, one festering resentment can undermine everything you built. The dishonorable look the other way when the rot is small, hoping it will resolve itself. It doesn't. It grows. It infects. The honorable act swiftly. They confront betrayal, dishonesty, and corrosion at the first sign, not out of cruelty, but out of duty. Mercy does not mean allowing poison to remain in the water. Everyone drinks. A leader's job is not just to build, it's to protect what's been built. Rule 50. Leave the role stronger than you found it. Every position of leadership is temporary, whether it lasts a year or a lifetime. The dishonorable treat their role as a personal throne, stripping it for their gain and leaving it hollow for whoever follows. The honorable see themselves as stewards. Their responsibility is to leave the position, the team, the structure, the legacy, stronger than it was when they arrived. They set up the next person to succeed, even if that successor is a rival. Leadership is not about how brightly you shine in the role. It's about how well the role shines after you've gone. Leadership is not a crown. It is not a title. It is not the applause that comes when the lights are on. It is the weight you carry in silence. It is the blame you take when others fail. It is the fairness you hold when no one is watching. It is the courage to decide for the mission, not yourself. It is the strength to stand alone. It is the humility to build others higher than yourself. When you lead with honor, your influence outlives your title. Your people will carry your lessons into places you will never see, and your name will be spoken with a tone that says, "They were the kind of leader worth following." Steel is just iron until it survives the forge. A code is just words until it survives the fire. Anyone can be honorable when the room is warm, the praise is loud, and the road is clear. The question is, what happens when the flames rise, the knives come out, and the ground shakes beneath you? Under fire, the dishonorable abandon their code to save themselves. The honorable grip it tighter. They know that if they lose their honor in the battle, the victory itself will taste like ash. Rule 51. Keep your composure when they try to break you. Pressure is often designed to provoke you into mistakes. Your enemies will insult you, bait you, and attack from angles meant to make you react without thinking. The dishonorable take the bait. They lash out, say the words they can't take back, make the move they regret the moment it's done. The honorable breathe first. They do not give the enemy the satisfaction of seeing them rattled. Their mind stays calm, their tone steady, their actions measured, even when their blood runs hot. Composure is not the absence of emotion, it is the control of it. Rule 52. Answer betrayal without becoming it. Betrayal cuts deeper than any blade because it comes from the hands you trusted. The dishonorable answer betrayal with their own, poisoning themselves to poison the betrayer. The honorable strike back if needed, but never with the same treachery. They deal with the traitor directly, cleanly, without lowering themselves to the same tactics. Revenge is tempting, but if it costs you your code, you've handed the betrayer a second victory. Rule 53. Protect the innocent, even at cost to yourself. Under fire, there will be chances to shield yourself by sacrificing those weaker than you. The dishonorable take them, throwing others into harm's way to save their own skin. The honorable step forward instead, taking the hit so others don't have to. They understand that strength was given to them for a reason, not to dominate the weak, but to guard them. When the smoke clears, those who stood behind you will remember the moment you refused to move aside. That memory will outlast the wound. Rule 54. Endure the siege without losing the walls. There will be times when the attack doesn't come in a single wave, but in a slow, grinding siege. The dishonorable crumble piece by piece, trading little parts of themselves for small moments of relief until there's nothing left to defend. The honorable hold their walls even when exhaustion claws at their resolve. They know that small compromises, once accepted, become the pattern. They ration their strength, guard their morale, and remember why they're holding the line in the first place. Survival is not just about lasting, it's about lasting unchanged. Rule 55. Choose the field of battle when you can. Under attack, not every fight must be fought where your enemy demands it. The dishonorable run blindly into every provocation, fighting on ground they do not know. At times they are not ready, with weapons they did not choose. The honorable decide where, when, and how the engagement happens whenever possible. They draw their opponents into conditions that favor their strengths, not the enemy's. Choosing the field is not cowardice, it's strategy, because victory is not given to the loudest but to the best prepared. Rule 56. Suffer in silence, strategize in private. The dishonorable turn every hardship into a public performance. They broadcast their suffering to win sympathy or rally outrage, hoping that pity will be mistaken for strength. But public wounds invite vultures. The honorable carry their pain with discretion. They suffer quietly, not because they are ashamed, but because they know their enemies watch for signs of weakness. Their planning is done behind closed doors, their doubts kept within trusted circles, their moves hidden until the moment they matter. Silence is not retreat, it is concealment until the time to strike. Rule 57. Strike decisively when the time comes. Under prolonged attack, patience can become a trap if it turns into hesitation. The dishonorable wait too long, losing the moment when a single move could change everything. Or worse, they strike impulsively without alignment between their will, their resources, and their timing. The honorable watch, wait, and prepare until the conditions are perfect. Then they strike with everything they have. The blow is clean, sudden, and final. A decisive strike is not about rage. It is about ending the fight so there is no need for another. Rule 58. Refuse to break your word under threat. When danger presses close, promises feel heavier. The dishonorable break their word the moment keeping it becomes costly, convincing themselves that survival is the highest law. The honorable know that a word kept under fire is worth more than 1,000 kept in safety. If you gave your oath before the storm, you keep it in the storm, even if the price doubles, even if the risk grows. A man who will break his word when pressed has no word at all. Rule 59. See the bigger war. Beyond the battle. Under attack, it's easy to become consumed by the immediate fight. The dishonorable burn all their energy on the skirmish in front of them, blind to the larger conflict it belongs to. They win small battles but lose the war. The honorable see the broader picture. They know when to fight hard, when to withdraw, and when to let the enemy waste themselves on meaningless ground. They measure their moves not by the noise they make, but by the position they gain. Every battle is a line and a longer story, and the goal is to finish the story, not just the chapter. Rule 60, leave the field with dignity, win or lose. Not every fight ends in victory. Sometimes the ground is lost, the resources spent, the odds too great. The dishonorable leave the field bitter, vengeful, spitting poison in every direction as they retreat. The honorable leave with dignity intact. They acknowledge the loss, learn the lesson, and walk away with their head high, knowing that losing with honor is still better than winning without it. Dignity in defeat ensures that when the next battle comes, allies will still follow you and enemies will still respect you. The moments when you are under fire will define the truth of your code more than any oath spoken in calm. When the enemy circles, when the betrayal cuts, when the siege drags on for days or years, you will stand revealed. You keep your composure. You refuse to become the betrayal you face. You protect those who cannot protect themselves. You hold your walls under siege. You choose your battlefield with care. You suffer without parading your wounds. You strike decisively when the moment comes. You keep your word even as the cost rises. You see the war beyond the battle. You leave with dignity, whether in victory or defeat. These are the marks of those who hold honor under fire. Fire does not create weakness. It reveals it. And if your code survives the flame, it will carry a weight no enemy can break. One day, you will no longer walk in the rooms you know. You will no longer answer calls, sign documents, or take another step on familiar ground. Your presence will be gone, but your shadow will remain. In the words spoken about you, in the stories told, in the results of the choices you made while breathing. The dishonorable live as if the present is all that matters, spending every day like there's no tomorrow because they hope to avoid facing one. The honorable live with the awareness that the future will speak their name long after they can no longer defend it. Legacy is not an accident. It is the deliberate shape you carve into the world, one decision at a time. Rule 61, live, so your name holds weight when spoken. Names are currency. Some open doors the moment they're heard, others close them before the knock. Your name will carry meaning. The only question is whether it will be honor or warning. The dishonorable spend their name recklessly, using it to demand favors, exploit opportunities, and force respect they haven't earned. Over time, their name becomes hollow, an echo without power. The honorable protect the weight of their name. They know that every act either strengthens or weakens it. They refuse to attach their name to lies, to injustice, to anything that will rot its foundation. When they are gone, their name will still stand as a key in the right hands and a barrier in the wrong ones. Rule 62, build something that outlives you. Your life is a fuse. It burns whether you pay attention or not. The dishonorable spend it chasing fleeting pleasures, leaving nothing behind but stories that fade within a season. The honorable invest their life in something that will stand after they are gone. A business that provides, a work of art that inspires, a cause that uplifts, a tradition that strengthens. They understand that legacy is not about monuments with your face on them. It's about structures, systems, and seeds that continue to grow in your absence. To build for the future is to accept that you are not the center of the story, but a chapter in a greater book. Rule 63, pass the code. Forward, not just the wealth. Wealth can be spent, property can be sold, status can be lost. But a code, if passed intact, can shape generations. The dishonorable hand The next generation money without meaning, power without principles, influence without understanding. They give tools without teaching, and then wonder why they are misused. The honorable teach the values that built what they leave behind. They ensure that whoever inherits their resources also inherits the wisdom to use them well. Passing the code forward is more than a conversation. It is living the example so fully that those who follow can continue it without question. Rule 64. Protect what you built from decay. It is not enough to build, you must also defend. The dishonorable treat accomplishments like trophies. Once earned, they are placed on a shelf and left to gather dust. Over time, their victories crumble because they believe building was the end. The honorable know that decay begins the moment vigilance ends. They maintain what they've created, reinforcing foundations, repairing cracks, guarding against erosion, whether those cracks are in stone, in trust, or in tradition. To keep your legacy alive, you must be its first and fiercest protector. Rule 65. Tell the story. Yourself before others rewrite it. If you do not tell your own story, others will, and they will shape it to serve their interests, not your truth. The dishonorable leave their legacy in the hands of rumor, letting strangers define their life's meaning. The honorable take control of their narrative. They document their journey, speak their lessons aloud, and ensure that those closest to them know the truth of what they stood for. They do not rely on memory alone because memory fades, but written words, recorded voices, and preserved acts endure. When your story is told in your own voice, it cannot be stolen. Rule 66. Plant trees you will never sit under. The dishonorable ask, "What's in it for me?" before acting. If the reward is not immediate, they see no reason to invest. The honorable give to futures they will never live to see. They plant trees whose shade will shelter people they will never meet. They build systems and traditions not for applause, but because it is right to leave the world stronger than they found it. True legacy is not measured in the comfort you enjoy, but in the comfort you create for those who follow. Rule 67. Guard the legacy from those who would twist it after you are gone. Your name and work can be used or misused. The dishonorable allow their legacy to be hijacked, selling their principles for attention, letting others attach their name to causes they would have despised. The honorable set safeguards while they still live. They choose trusted heirs, write clear instructions, and make it difficult for anyone to distort the meaning of their work. A legacy without protection becomes a weapon in the wrong hands. Rule 68. Choose successors by merit, not sentiment. The dishonorable hand over their life's work to the nearest relative, favorite friend, or most flattering supporter, regardless of their fitness to carry it. They choose sentiment over stability, and in doing so, set their legacy up for collapse. The honorable select successors who have proven themselves worthy through action, integrity, and discipline. They do not confuse affection with capability. They understand that preserving what they've built sometimes means passing it to someone outside their bloodline, because legacy is not about inheritance, it's about continuation. Sentiment may warm the heart, but merit preserves the mission. Rule 69. Let the work speak louder than the name. Ego-driven legacy builders plaster their name on everything, desperate to be remembered for themselves rather than for the value they created. When their name fades, as all names eventually do, their work fades with it. The honorable ensure their work can stand without their face attached. They build systems, institutions, and traditions strong enough to outlive the memory of their maker. The truest legacy does not require people to remember you, only to remember the impact you made. Rule 70. Accept that you will not control how you are remembered. Even with the greatest care, you cannot dictate the exact way your name will be spoken a century from now. The dishonorable obsess over this, trying to shape every word, every opinion, every thought that might survive them. The honorable accept the truth. You cannot control remembrance, only influence it. Your task is to live with such integrity and strength that whatever version of you survives will still bear the unmistakable shape of honor. You control your actions in life. History will do the rest. Legacy is not carved in stone, it is carved in actions. It is built in how you treat people, in what you create, in what you protect, and in what you pass forward. Live so your name has weight. Build something that stands after you. Pass the code along with the wealth. Defend what you've built from decay. Tell your own story before others rewrite it. Invest in futures you'll never see. Protect your legacy from being twisted. Choose your successors with wisdom, not sentiment. Let your work outshine your name. Accept the limits of control, but maximize the reach of your influence. When you are gone, your legacy will walk in rooms you will never enter. It will speak for you when you can no longer speak for yourself. And if you have lived with honor, it will not whisper, it will thunder. Conflict is inevitable. Whether in business, family, friendship, or the battlefield, it will find you. But the end of the conflict, how you choose to close it, can either cement your honor or stain it permanently. The dishonorable believe winning is all that matters. They scorch the earth behind them, destroying relationships, reputations, and opportunities in their quest for victory. Even when the fight ends, the damage lingers, poisoning the ground for years to come. The honorable understand that resolution is not about destroying the other side. It's about creating a future where the battle doesn't need to be fought again. That requires restraint, clarity, and the ability to walk away without dragging the wreckage with you. Rule 71. Seek understanding before victory. The dishonorable go into every conflict with one goal: to win at any cost. They close their ears, harden their hearts, and fight for their own view until the other side is broken. But broken opponents rarely stay quiet. They become future enemies. The honorable seek understanding first. This does not mean surrender, nor does it mean tolerating injustice. It means gathering the full truth before swinging the hammer. They listen, question, and explore the root of the problem, knowing that some conflicts are born from miscommunication, misunderstanding, or false information. By seeking clarity before victory, they avoid unnecessary battles and prevent future wars. A victory without understanding is fragile. One rooted in truth is unshakable. Rule 72. Control the tone, control the outcome. In conflict, tone is a weapon. Raised voices, sharp words, and hostile energy push the other side into defense. And when people defend, they stop listening. The dishonorable let their emotions dictate their tone. They escalate every disagreement into a personal attack, turning potential resolution into an all-out war. They may win the argument, but they lose the relationship, and sometimes the opportunity entirely. The honorable control their tone as carefully as they control their words. Even in heated exchanges, they keep it steady, measured, and grounded in respect. This doesn't make them weak, it makes them dangerous, because they remain in control while the other side burns their composure. Conflict often ends in the same tone it begins with. If you set it with discipline, you guide the fight toward resolution instead of ruin. Rule 73. Know when to fight and when to yield. Pride is the fuel of endless conflict. The dishonorable fight every battle to the bitter end, not because it's necessary, but because they can't stomach the idea of letting the other side win. In doing so, they waste resources, destroy alliances, and burn themselves out over fights that never needed to happen. The honorable understand that not every hill is worth dying on. They assess the value of the fight before committing their full strength. If the battle costs more than the victory is worth, they step back, not from weakness, but from strategic choice. Yielding in the right moment preserves strength for the battles that truly matter. And when they do fight, they fight with full force because they know the cause is worth it. Rule 74. Attack the problem, not the person. The dishonorable turn every disagreement into a personal war. They insult, belittle, and drag unrelated grievances into the fight. This not only poisons the conversation, it ensures the other side will defend themselves instead of solving the issue. The honorable separate the problem from the person. They can fight the idea without destroying the individual holding it. They frame the conflict around fixing what's broken, not breaking the one across the table. By keeping the focus on the issue, they preserve the possibility of future cooperation. Winning the argument is easy. Winning the argument and keeping the bridge intact is the work of honor. Rule 75. Never humiliate an opponent. Humiliation is a short-term pleasure and a long-term mistake. The dishonorable love to embarrass those they defeat, turning victory into a spectacle. But humiliated opponents rarely forgive. They regroup, grow sharper, and wait for the moment to strike back. The honorable close the conflict without robbing the other side of their dignity. They allow the opponent to walk away with their head high, even if they've lost. This is not mercy for the opponent's sake alone. It is strategic wisdom. An enemy who can leave without shame is less likely to return for revenge. The strongest resolution leaves no need for another fight. Rule 76. Keep your word in negotiation. In negotiation, promises are the currency. The dishonorable spend it recklessly, agreeing to terms they have no intention of keeping just to win ground in the moment. When the dust settles, their word is worthless, and so is their influence. The honorable keep their word even after the conflict is over. They understand that breaking an agreement destroys credibility, and without credibility, future resolutions become impossible. Your word in conflict should be as unshakable as your word in peace. If you agree to terms, you honor them, whether it benefits you later or not. Rule 77. Leave no debris behind. Many conflicts end in name only. The dishonorable let resentment linger, keep grudges alive, and allow unresolved issues to fester beneath the surface. These remnants eventually spark another fight, often worse than the first. The honorable clean the battlefield completely. They resolve lingering misunderstandings, address unspoken tensions, and ensure there are no loose ends that can be pulled open later. This doesn't mean every conflict ends in friendship. It means it ends without ghosts haunting the next interaction. To resolve with honor is to make sure the war is truly over. Rule 78. Let the other side save face. When the dust settles, even a defeated opponent needs a way to step away without public shame. The dishonorable deny them this, forcing them to swallow humiliation in front of others. That bitterness becomes a seed, one that grows into retaliation. The honorable create a path for the other side to exit with dignity intact. This could be through private concessions, careful wording, or allowing them to claim a partial win. Such gestures are not weakness, they are strategic. A conflict truly ends when the other side no longer feels the need to undo the outcome. Rule 79. Know when silence is the best resolution. Not every attack needs an answer. The dishonorable respond to every slight, every rumor, every provocation. In doing so, they legitimize even the smallest, pettiest conflicts and drain their energy on meaningless battles. The honorable understand that silence can be more powerful than any rebuttal. By refusing to engage, they deny oxygen to fires that would otherwise burn hotter. Silence sends its own message, one of control, discipline, and the refusal to be baited. Sometimes the greatest victory is simply not playing the game. Rule 80. Part ways without poison. When a conflict cannot be resolved and separation is necessary, the dishonorable burn the bridge entirely, with words, with actions, with vindictive campaigns that follow the other party long after the split. The honorable walk away clean. They may end the association, the deal, or the alliance, but they do it without leaving behind venom. They understand that the world is small, paths cross unexpectedly, and today's opponent could be tomorrow's necessary ally. Ending without poison keeps the door, and your reputation intact. Conflict is inevitable, but dishonor and conflict is a choice. The honorable know that the end of a fight matters just as much as the fight itself. They seek understanding before victory. They control the tone to control the outcome. They know when to fight and when to yield. They attack problems, not people. They never humiliate an opponent. They keep their word in negotiation. They leave no debris behind. They let the other side save face. They understand silence as a weapon. They part ways without poison. When you resolve with honor, you remove the need for the war to begin again. And that, more than the rush of winning, is what makes your victory permanent. Struggle shapes character, but prosperity tests it. When you are hungry, every choice is sharp. Every move matters. But when your table is full, your name respected, and your future secure, a dangerous softness creeps in. The dishonorable treat prosperity as a license to drift, to lower standards, indulge in excess, and take more than they give. They believe they've earned the right to loosen their code. And in that looseness, they begin their own fall. The honorable understand that prosperity is not a reward, it is another test. A test of whether they can hold their discipline without the pressure of survival, whether they can be as principled in comfort as they were in hardship. Prosperity can destroy you faster than adversity if you treat it as the finish line. For the honorable, it is just another battlefield. Rule 81. Stay hungry when you're full. The dishonorable let success dull their edge. Once they've achieved the level of comfort, they stop pushing, stop learning, stop striving. The hunger that once drove them is replaced by complacency, and complacency is the first step toward decline. The honorable remain hungry even with a full table. They keep their curiosity alive, their skills sharp, their ambition active. They set new goals, not out of greed, but to keep themselves engaged, alert, and growing. Comfort is not the enemy, stagnation is. A full belly can still run if the mind stays sharp. Rule 82. Share the prosperity without weakening the recipient. The dishonorable hoard wealth and opportunity, believing that if others rise, they themselves will fall. Or they give recklessly, enabling dependency instead of empowerment. The honorable share what they have, but with intention. They give in ways that strengthen others, not in ways that make them reliant. They provide tools, guidance, and resources that allow others to stand on their own. Prosperity gains value when it's used to lift others, but it loses its power when it creates dependency instead of dignity. Rule 83. Stay true to the code that brought you here. Prosperity tempts people to rewrite their principles. The dishonorable adjust their values to protect their position, choosing convenience over conviction. They forget that it was discipline, integrity, and grit that earned them their success, and they trade those for comfort. The honorable anchor themselves in the same code that carried them through the lean days. They do not cut corners simply because they can now afford to. They understand that abandoning their principles in prosperity is worse than breaking them in desperation, because it is done by choice, not necessity. The code is not just for the climb, it is for the summit as well. Rule 84. Guard against entitlement. The dishonorable begin to believe their comfort is permanent, that they deserve their position simply because they hold it. They mistake fortune for fate, thinking the world owes them respect, wealth, or ease. The honorable treat prosperity as a privilege, not a guarantee. They recognize that the same discipline that earned their position is required to keep it. They remind themselves daily that no one is entitled to success. It must be continually justified through effort, humility, and contribution. Entitlement is the quiet rot that weakens a legacy from within. Guard against it like you would guard against a thief in the night. Rule 85. Keep the company of those who challenge you. In prosperity, the dishonorable surround themselves with flatterers, people who echo their thoughts, praise their every decision, and never question their judgment. It feels good in the moment, but it isolates them from reality. The honorable seek out people who sharpen them, not just those who comfort them. They value the voices that question, critique, and push them to improve. They do not mistake disagreement for disloyalty. They understand that the truest loyalty is honesty. Your circle should protect your integrity, not just your image. Rule 86. Maintain the standards you set in struggle. In hard times, the dishonorable act disciplined because they must. But when the pressure lifts, their standards drop. They sleep in, they cut corners, they allow mediocrity into spaces they once guarded fiercely. The honorable refuse to let standards slip simply because circumstances are easier. They keep the same rigor, the same work ethic, the same precision they had when survival depended on it. Prosperity does not loosen their grip on excellence. It tightens it because they know what's at stake if it's lost. The world respects those who are as disciplined in abundance as they are in scarcity. Rule 87. Remember where you came from. Prosperity can make people forget their roots. The dishonorable erase their history, pretending they were always at the top, always in control, always successful. They look down on those still climbing, forgetting they once stood in the same place. The honorable keep their beginnings close. They remember the nights without sleep, the meals skipped, the doors slammed in their face. They carry gratitude for those who helped them, and empathy for those still fighting their way up. Remembering where you came from keeps pride in check and compassion alive. Rule 88. Use comfort as a tool, not a crutch. The dishonorable sink into comfort like quicksand. They use it to avoid discomfort, dodge challenges, and stay hidden from anything that might test them. Over time, their edge dulls, their instincts fade, and they forget what it means to struggle. The honorable see comfort as a tool, something to recharge them between battles, to restore strength before the next climb. They do not let it replace the grind, they let it fuel it. Comfort is meant to prepare you for what's next, not protect you from it. Rule 89, continue to serve even when you no longer need. 2. The dishonorable stop contributing once their own needs are met. They retire into self-interest, spending their days chasing personal pleasures and ignoring the struggles of others. The honorable continue to serve not because they have to, but because they choose to. They use their position, influence, and resources to create opportunities, solve problems, and strengthen the community around them. True prosperity expands your responsibility, not your excuses. Rule 90. Prepare for the day prosperity ends. Prosperity is not eternal. The dishonorable live as though it will last forever, spending recklessly, ignoring risks, and building nothing that could survive a downturn. When their fortune turns, they are left exposed and desperate. The honorable plan for winter during summer. They save, diversify, and invest in stability. They build habits and systems that will carry them even when the easy days end. Prosperity is not an endless season, it is a temporary climate. Those who know this are never caught unprepared. Adversity tests your strength, prosperity tests your discipline. Many fall when the fight is over, not because the enemy won, but because comfort did. The honorable are immune to that decay because they treat prosperity as a season for sharpening, not softening. They stay hungry when full, they share wisely, they remain loyal to the code, they guard against entitlement, they keep sharp company, they maintain their standards, they remember their roots. They use comfort as a tool, they continue to serve, and they prepare for the day prosperity ends. Prosperity is not the finish line, it is another battlefield, and the victory here is not in keeping what you have, it's in keeping who you are while you have it. At the end of it all, after the victories, after the losses, after the struggles and the seasons of ease, one thing remains, your oath. Your oath is the invisible spine that has held you upright through the storms. It is the blood-ink signature you've placed on every action, every word, every choice. Without it, your life is scattered pieces, a set of moments with no binding thread. With it, every act becomes part of a single unbroken line. The dishonorable treat oaths like theater, something spoken for applause, for public display, for the appearance of principle. But when the weight of keeping it becomes heavy, they set it down without hesitation. The honorable understand the gravity of an oath. They know it is not a performance. It is a promise you keep even when no one is watching, even when it costs you more than you thought it would, even when it feels like it might break you. And here, in these final 10 rules, the oath becomes not just words, but life itself. Rule 91, make your oath in private before you ever speak it in public. The dishonorable declare their commitments loudly so the world will believe in their virtue. They love the ceremony of promising more than the discipline of fulfilling. Their oaths are born in front of crowds and die in silence. The honorable make their oath in solitude first. They wrestle with it in their own mind, weigh the cost, and decide in the quiet whether they can bear it. Only when they know they will keep it do they speak it aloud. A private oath is forged in truth. A public oath forged without it will shatter at the first strike. Rule 92. Let your actions speak the oath for you. The dishonorable are forever reminding people of their promises, as if words alone prove loyalty. They repeat their commitments endlessly, but when action is required, they disappear into excuses. The honorable rarely need to repeat what they've sworn. Their actions, repeated over time, make the oath visible. Their consistency makes it undeniable. They live in such a way that people can predict their choices without needing to hear their promises, because their word has been proven by their walk. An oath spoken is strong. An oath lived is unbreakable. Rule 93. Never bind yourself to what violates your core. Not all promises are worth keeping. The dishonorable bind themselves to anything that offers advantage in the moment. Alliances, deals, or causes they do not truly believe in. Later, they either break those commitments or betray themselves to keep them. The honorable refuse to make any oath that would force them to act against their deepest principles. They would rather lose an opportunity than tie themselves to something that corrodes their core. The oath you choose shapes the life you live. Make it clean, make it aligned, make it worthy, or do not make it at all. Rule 94. Keep it. When it's easy, guard it. When it's hard. The dishonorable keep their oath when it costs them nothing. They fulfill it when the conditions are favorable, when the path is smooth, when the keeping requires no sacrifice. But the moment it demands more than they expected, they drop it and justify their abandonment as necessary. The honorable understand that the true test of an oath is not when the sun is shining, but when the storm hits. They guard it then with the same ferocity they had in the beginning. The harder it is to keep, the more important it is to hold. Ease proves nothing. Pressure proves everything. Rule 95. Let no one buy or break your word. Some will try to purchase your loyalty. Others will try to crush it. The dishonorable have a price, whether it's gold, comfort, status, or security. Once that price is met, their oath collapses. And once an oath is bought, it is never respected again. The honorable are unpurchasable. Their loyalty is not a commodity, it is a conviction. They cannot be bribed to break it, nor bullied to bend it. They know that the moment their oath can be bought, it becomes worthless, and so do they. The world can take many things from you. Your word should not be one of them. Rule 96. Renew the oath in your actions daily. The dishonorable think of an oath as a one-time event, a grand declaration made once, then forgotten until it's convenient to reference. They let it fade into the background until it no longer shapes their choices. The honorable treat their oath as a daily discipline. They renew it every morning in the way they speak, work, and live. They know that one day of keeping it means nothing without the next day, and the next, and the next. An oath is not sustained by memory. It is sustained by repetition. Rule 97. Teach the next to swear it. An oath held only by you dies with you. The dishonorable keep their word privately, never passing the principles on, ensuring that when they are gone, the code disappears with them. The honorable teach others to take the same oath, not through speeches alone, but by living in a way that makes others want to make the same vow. They model the weight, the cost, and the dignity of keeping it. A life of honor is multiplied when it becomes the seed for more. Your oath should be an inheritance as much as any treasure. Rule 98. Keep it even when no one will know if you don't. The dishonorable keep their word only when there is an audience to witness it. When the lights are off and no one is watching, they cut corners, betray commitments, and convince themselves it doesn't count if no one sees. The honorable understand that the truest measure of an oath is what you do in the shadows. Integrity is not dependent on witnesses. If you would not keep your word in the dark, you never truly meant it in the light. The unseen moments are where your oath is either made real or proven false. Rule 99. Keep it to the end. The dishonorable keep their oath until it becomes inconvenient, exhausting, or no longer suits their current desires. They discard it like a tool that has served its purpose. The honorable keep it to the end, not just until it is hard, not just until it is lonely, but until their final breath. They understand that an oath is not a seasonal garment to be worn when comfortable. It is skin. The weight you carry until the end defines the worth of the oath you swore in the beginning. Rule 100. Die with it intact. The dishonorable may have moments of loyalty, flashes of conviction, or scattered acts of integrity, but they leave this life with a fractured code. Their promises scattered in pieces. The honorable die with their oath whole. They leave no unfinished commitments, no betrayed trusts, no words left unkept. Their departure is not marked by what they abandoned, but by what they carried faithfully to the final moment. Death does not end an oath kept, it seals it. One day, your voice will go silent. The titles will fade. The possessions will change hands. The people who once stood beside you will go on with their lives. What will remain is the echo of how you lived. What will be spoken in rooms you will never enter again is not how loudly you swore your oath, but how quietly and consistently you kept it. Every promise you honored will be a stone in the foundation of your legacy. Every word you kept will be a line in the story they tell about you. And if you have lived well, that story will carry your name forward not as a warning, but as a standard. To live with honor is not to live without flaw. It is to live without betrayal of yourself. It is to take the weight of the oath willingly, bear it through the heat of summer and the cold of winter, and refuse to set it down, no matter how tempting the relief might be. This is not a path for the many. It is not a road for the soft. It is a narrow bridge for those willing to let their life be defined by the weight they choose to carry. So make your oath in the quiet, live it in the noise, guard it in the storms. And when your time comes to leave this place, let them find it still in your hands, unbroken, untarnished, and whole. Because in the end, there is nothing greater you can leave behind than the proof that you meant every word.